Hello, one and all, I'm GrimpaulCheese, and welcome back to Dark Souls. So when we last left off, we were standing before the statue of Lord Gwyn himself. We were taking a quick nap, but now it's nap for no longer. Well, actually, want to note something quickly. I'd like to note about, look where the weapons come out of. It literally just pulls him out of his arse. It's like, one arse cheek comes out of the giant depleted uranium shield, and the other one is like a giant black stick. I mean, to be honest, that stick's probably actually the size of Mr. Feathers himself. It's amazing that he's actually able to take it out just like that. It's like a casual little hand movement. You could probably play a good deck of cards, really. But, nevertheless, we should actually check something first of all. I'm actually kind of curious. Now, what is the putting away animation for the sword? He just basically puts into his poncho. I can only presume that the greatsword itself happens to be like a giant black spinal cord. That's obviously bloodstained because he ripped it out. Now, I'd like to note, if your spinal cord looks black, just like that, then you should probably go see a doctor. Actually, if you ripped out your own spinal cord, you should probably see more than a doctor. Now, there's two directions we can go right about now in Anolondo. We can go up to that ledge all the way up there, or we go in the cathedral right here. I think for the convenience sake, that the cathedral is right here, right now, we should just go into the cathedral. We should explore what lurks beneath that place. Why is the place so big, after all? I mean, it just seems to be an unconventional, huge building. I mean, obviously there's these white painting guardians everywhere in their almost comically white robes. It's like some type of cult. A cult that, mind you, that dies in one giant swing. Oh, we got a piece of humanity from that. And we got some throwing knives. They're never going to drop their painting guardian sword, are they? Probably not. I mean, just look at it. I mean, actually, I'm kind of curious, actually, regarding this place that, well, you can't really get this thing back down once you go upwards. So I'm kind of curious, right? If I was up, and there's like these 20-odd guys down here, what have I been doing to pass the time? I mean, that's a good question, really. I mean, knowing them, they've probably got the two, well, sharp sticks, and did a bit of rock climbing. They climbed all the way up to the rafters and climbed them right back down. Bit of a competition, really. Well, if you did that for like a century and a half, that'd probably get very boring in the end. But there's two things we want in this room. One is by that chandelier, and one is all the way down there. Now, what we need to do is just cut everyone down as fast as humanly possible. After all, they are robed, well, cults. We just need to make sure they don't hit us with either their throwing knives or their daggers. Even though the throwing knives do a lot more damage than anything else I've ever imagined in a range attack. Oh, there we go. Even though we are just wearing a poncho, still it's a tiny little throwing knife. You know, it's unlike they've got like a giant arm that's suitable for someone playing rounders or baseball or anything like that. Be surprisingly, that's probably what they did. They probably have a bunch of knives and have a bit more of a lethal version of baseball. That probably wouldn't actually be too surprising. You know, it's probably like, let's try and hit it with that small little sticks. It's more like rounders, isn't it? Yes. For those unaware, baseball rounders are practically the same thing. It's just smaller bats for rounders, that is. So we just need to get him to stop throwing his knives and come over here so we can go big choppy. Look how much damage that throwing knife did. It's ridiculous. It even hit me in the back. Oh, he dropped something. What'd you drop? More throwing knives. God damn it. I don't want your bloody tiny throwing knives. It's not what I want right about now. Now, sadly, this body by the chandelier, that's clearly kind of decayed slightly, is guarded by all these men. I mean, I know it's a giant event. I know a chandelier probably flattened two of your friends, and you're probably curious about why it's fallen. But don't worry. I'm here. I'm here for all your answers. All you have to do is stop throwing your knives and talk. I mean, we're sure to have a nice, lovely conversation. Right? That's right. You understand, don't you? That's like she just flopped just then. Remember, if anything goes wrong, if you see a man with a giant bloody stick in his hand, well, we should obviously just fall down and do the flop. What do you mean a flop? I mean you should probably take a nap. Oh great, I angered them too. At least I didn't anger that guy over there. Fighting 3 at a time can be a bit of a hassle because there's so many throwing knives that you have to dodge. I mean, they just want to throw the small little stabby things. I don't blame them, really. You know, you stop it. Okay, that was probably bad. Wow! Oh wow, that's a lot of damage just been done to me. You are going to be a bit of a pain to take care of because I need to take a good drink. Now, oh, let's do this. Ah, perfect! You fall straight in my plan. Now I must drink. Cool. Okay, this is amazing. Why can't I have, like, some type of potion in my hand that would, like, restores my entire punctured kidneys? I can only presume it's like punching my kidneys, my livers, my lungs, and so on and forth with these knives. I mean, what else are they going to do with that? Now, we got a choice. We can either go to that guy and... oh, there's two people over there, so we're going to go over to this person and say hello to him. Because after all, he's standing by a pot and a dead body. It's probably his friend, but somebody's been ordered to guard. I mean, obviously, these cults have... well, a giant... well, what is this? A heretic? No. I can't pronounce the word right now. Like normal. Bit of a less playing problem for me. It's like, I can pronounce it normally, but out when I record, I just lose control of my tongue. And my fingers. And my mind. It's one of those three sometimes. But either way, you're probably under strict orders to guard his corpse. And inside, it's black iron armor. And a great sword and a great shield. Now, black iron armor is the armor of a legendary warrior. A warrior that we could have met ourselves. It is the armor of Black Iron Tarkus, a knight known for his great strength, built of a special black iron providing a strong defense, notably against fire, but so terribly heavy to be unwieldy to all but Tarkus himself. So this is a generic piece of armor right about here. It's very popular, but just look at that fire resistance. It's almost as good as the heavy amount of plating it is. But mind you, it's heavier than anything we've got right about now. I mean, it's almost as heavy as that giant stone sword we had. I mean, if we just look at it right now, we won't be able to do anything in this armor. I mean, just look at that. Mind you, that looks really armored, actually. Well, I can actually move. Wow, I just surprised myself. I can actually move in this armor. I thought I would just be like a giant, well, statue like this. Because if I show you, I don't think I've actually shown you in this playthrough. But if you just wield just nothing but the stuff you can't handle... let me just equip all of this. Now, all I want to tell you now is all the armor says the same thing. As you can see, it's all the same thing. The only thing that's different is helm or Black Knight Tarkus or chestplate or something like that. So if we equipped all of this, I mean, this is what Black Knight Tarkus would look like if we actually had a shield. Now, let me see. Can I actually... oh, wow, I can actually wield this. Now, this is really surprising me because... wow, I can actually wield all of it. How? Okay. I might just wield this, actually, but I want to take off his hat. Why I want to take off the hat? Because I like my gargoyle helmet. It's my personality, after all. Now, what I might do just to... what is my equipment load right now? My equipment load is 79. Wow, I can just about do it. Huh. Those few points in endurance really did do a massive effect, apparently. Wow, okay. Let's unequip the crossbow for now, just for no real reason, otherwise I don't need it. Now, the Black Iron Shield... is the Great Shield of Mighty Knight Tarkus. Built of special black iron, even heavier than Knight... I forget what I calculated about Baronite's Tower Shield, especially resistant to fire and effective for shield bashing. Now, this will be the first proper Great Shield you actually get from a drop. Now, I'm not from a drop, from just like randomly picking it up. Most people either get this one or the wooden one. Now, the wooden one I did not get, mainly because I didn't want to go out of my way to get it. It's all the way in Blighttown into scaffolding and all of that. No, let's go there, right? I thought, it's just more convenient to get this giant shield. The giant shield is actually better than this shield altogether. And even actually better than the giant shield. Now, regarding it's all really heavy, surprising I can actually wield it, I'm going to keep it on. Why? Because we probably need the defense right about now. I wanted to help. So, this is a fat roll. So what was it before? A mid-roll? Didn't look like a mid-roll. But either way, I'm even more slower than I've ever been in my life right about now, because I'm actually wearing armor for once, and not some type of fancy piece of clothing. Most likely most of the time I'm actually wearing a poncho, or a dress, or like some type of leather garment. But now, I'm a proper warrior. I am Mr. Fibbles. Cool. Could you imagine how heavy it would be just wearing this armor in real life? I know, I wouldn't even be able to move in this. Absolutely balmy, if you ask me, that he's actually able to just like run like that with a massive sword. But either way, I'm slightly color-coded, I actually just noticed. Aside from the giant, well, grey and green shield on my back. The reason why I'm saying actually, wow, that's actually not that much damage he's doing to me. But what I mean by that in particular is, I mean, I actually got all black armor, a black sword, one needs a black shield. I could put on the black shield, but it's not as good. Now there's also this giant painting, which I could wish, oh, I wish I could just stuff in my pocket. Could you imagine if we could just like, you just picked up a painting? It'd be amazing. But the contraption does not move. You would think it would easily move since it seems to be slightly off the wall. Yes, it is. I don't know what's actually keeping it up because as you can see, well, if you look all the way up, there's actually nothing keeping it on the wall. It's literally in a constant state of it collapsing. I'm sure that's a slight nudge would be able to make it fall, but sadly that is not the case. We'll probably come back later to talk with the painting, or just merely to touch it and feel it, and probably have a nice good old nap next to it. Probably. But right now, that's this place taken care of. We got a giant, what was it, magical great shield, I think it was? I don't know what spell we got, let me quickly check. Our magical great weapon. Now, the great weapon at Vinheim, only magic swordsmen on special orders are allowed to learn this spell, which grants a powerful augmented to various weapons. So you can make your weapon magical. It doesn't conjure a weapon in your hand, which would be amazing, which I personally thought was it when I first played this game, but it's just merely, let's just make this weapon magical. Now, if your weapon is already enchanted, let's just say through blacksmithing, actually, no, I'm thinking of another game, actually, no, never mind, ignore what I just said. It doesn't matter how you upgrade your weapon, so your weapon could be, well, let's just say a plus 15 or plus 5 lightning sword, or, well, wonder and eradication. And if that may be the case, you can even make it magical on top of it, but the enchantment itself only lasts for a certain period of time. I also get very, well, disorganized when I actually get on this lift, because I never know where I'm truly going. I always think, maybe it's going from that side. No, you're going from this side. So, we're actually going to enter this giant fortress right about here, with 2 humanity and 20,000 souls. Now, I'd like to note this. If we were human, we'll probably be heavily invaded by now, because this is a popular invading hotspot. It's actually a PvP place. So if you like your PvP, you can always come here and expect a decent PvP match. Most likely, that's what's going to happen. So, as you can see, there's those massive doors, and there's 2 sentinels. Now, what I'm going to try and do is angle one of them, and only one at a time. Now, the reason why is because fighting them 2 at once can be very, very troublesome. Now, I've not tried actually attacking him with this giant greatsword of mine. Oh, I forget, I must fight you on the edge of things, don't I? Yes. But you have to fight him right about here, but you need to make sure you don't go too far onto the land, or the land above the stairs, otherwise you trigger his friend over there. Now, I want to know how much damage this do to you. Probably a lot. Now, the thing is right about now is just trying to hit him while actually not de-aggroing him. Now, let's see if we can actually get a good hit on you. Come on. You know you want the fibbles. Oh, wow. 2 hits and it's down. Just one giant cleave and it's return it back. And there we go. It's chopped off all its guts and intestines. That is, if this thing even had any of that. Which I personally highly doubt. Since they are just giant automatons. Well, I personally think they're giant automatons. I mean, they don't really act human-like. Well, they're probably heavily encumbered. If so, they're probably like mechs. Well, yield mechs, really. They're just really like giant helmets and giant legs, a giant prosthetic. And, yeah, basically that. Now, there is this gate right about here. As you can see, there's those creatures that picked me up and took me into this place to begin with. Now, we could open this door, but sadly we cannot. See, it doesn't open from this side. You think you just reach your hand through and just pull it out, right? No, Mr. Fibbles doesn't want to do that. He feels like, well, it's locked from this side for a reason, so let's go and find out that reason. He's a bit of an inquisitive sort. Sadly, you cannot use your hands and open up this door. It's locked by some contraption, and probably I don't have the strength to open up this 30-foot door. I mean, just look at it. I'm just gonna presume here that Mr. Fibbles is 6 foot tall. You know, I'm just gonna presume that. So, if he's 6 foot, how big is this door? How many Mr. Fibbles does it take to get to the, well, that little edge up there, all the way down to these steps? Probably 10 of them. In that case, it's probably 60 foot tall. But I mean, Mr. Fibbles having the strength to actually do that. Actually, why is this door open? Now, why can't Mr. Fibbles just open a door by merely just pulling it like that, instead of using that tiny little door down there? I don't know, there's so many questions and answers, but I don't think I'm ever really going to get appropriate answers to actually, well, answer my queries. Now, you could, if we wanted to, like, take a nice little drop into the bottomless pit that lurks below, or we could go down here and greet my friend. I'm just making sure there's nothing there. No, there's not. Now my friends down here, as you can see, they're lovely individuals. They got blood-stained hands. I mean, just look at them. Now you can see they got giant spears and rings. Now what we want to do is trigger them one at a time. As you can see, they're a bit manic. And they're not very nice individuals, mainly because they got a giant bogey sticks. You know what I think of? Oh, and they actually kind of... Oh god, no! Ow! And they also do lightning damage. Okay. I'm very, very slow and very, very encumbered. Now, let's see if we can get a good slice. Wow, one hit and it just goes down just like that. That's amazing, actually. I really didn't think that would happen. Now, contrary to popular belief, you could just go charge him, but then you wouldn't be able to attack this thing down here. The thing would charge you and then backstab you. And then you'd basically die probably in the, well, equivalent of death of being in an electric chair in the American lands. So, we're going to get him out. I don't know why his hands are bloodstained. He probably took a nice, good meal. Probably one of his boars nearby, you know? The boars are heavily armored. He probably ate one of them for lunch. They probably all did. Probably went half in, you know? If so, I wonder who got the helmet. He probably got a helmet, or probably one of our other friends. Luckily, it's one good blow, just chops him in half. Now, there's nothing really good down here. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get inside this gargantuous fortress. Now, a lot like the Cathedral, we need to take a note. So the designers want us to break in if there's no conventional way in. So, we must, well, somehow climb the building. The best way to climb the building is by going into this tower itself. Because it just happens to be open, because these people decided to go get lunch. And as you know, people, when they come home from lunch or coming back to work for lunch, they just basically leave and just say, oh, I don't fancy opening the door right about now, or closing it properly. You know, security is a bit lazy here and there, and right now they're paying the price by facing me, Mr. Fibbles, and their ultimate demise will come soon. Like that. And ow, that really hurts. Oh, he dropped something, and he just decided to commit suicide. Look, I understand I killed your friend, but it doesn't mean you should take your life. You should fight with honor. Now, I actually got a very lucky, well, I was actually very lucky right about here. I managed to get a drop, and I managed to get that demon spear. Now, the demon spear is arguably one of the better spears in the game. Now, if I try and find it quick, the demon spear is right about here. So here we go, we have a demon spear, carved from the bones of fellow demons, wielded by slim, lesser, battering demons. The weapon of these Chaos Demons, Wanda and Orlando, are different from those other Chaos Demons, and are imbued with lightning. Now what I mean about that is because they're talking about Chaos Demons, right? Not all demons are chaotic. These ones aren't that chaotic. After all, they helped us once. I guess that kind of makes them a bit chaotic, both your friend and foe in that sense. But it also says Chaos Demons here, so they're clearly not the Chaos Demons that the Black Knights fought all that years ago. So, you know, just want to clarify that. It's also a decent spear because it's got quite good scaling, very low stats, and the lightning, of course. The lightning is also always lovely and always needed. Compared to this, lightning spear is not as good, mind you, but if you notice, the lightning spear doesn't have any scaling at all, while this does. So, you know, it's always wonderful to have. Now, there is this bit. Now, this bit in particular is what every single person that comes to Analondo dreads. There are knights here. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my god, the Black Knights. Well, you kind of the same thought premise, really, but they're different. A lot different. There's the Black Knights that followed Gwyn, and then there's the Black Knights that were left behind. These ones were the ones that left behind. Now, they could easily knock you back because they are wielding giant bows that fire harpoons at you. They seem to crumble into dust, so probably they're enchanted. So what we want to do is just, well, be extremely careful and try not to take any of these giant bolts to the face. Now, we need to take on one at a time, but sadly, you have to fight him on this very, very tiny ledge. Now, what we want to do right about now... Look at that knockback right about that. There we go, we triggered him. Fantastic. And he just decided to commit suicide. I don't know what people are in this city with suicide. I guess they just don't want to live any longer. Now, we want to take care of this person. Oh, he decided to go back to his harpoon. Don't blame him, really. Harpoons are wonderful. So, hello. Would you like a fight? Yes, you do. You do want to fight. Now, let's see if I can get a good blow. There we go. So, that was a Silver Knight. He wasn't as black and charred by the flames of, well, Chaos Demons back in the day, or dragons. but they are just normal old knights that sit here to guard this place for the gods themselves. So kind of like the city watch, so to say. And they wield giant great bows that no man should be able to wield. We can also look into these windows. Ooh, look at that chandelier. But we're not really interested about what these people have to offer, unless we actually are. Oh, there's a bonfire. And Saltaire! Oh, there's Saltaire! Oh, we could have a nice chat with him. Let's go all the way down there and see how he is. Now, once again, we've broken into this place, but I feel it's going to be a deadly drop, so let's take a potion quick. There we go. Yeah, it didn't take too much damage off, that's always nice. And there we are. We're now inside the fortress, or the citadel of Anolondo. I mean, look at this place. The ceiling's quite nice, isn't it? The floor, well, the ceiling is, well, not the floor, the ceiling, I'll get it eventually, but the walls are not as fancy as everything else, are they? A bit bland. But either way, we're going to go talk to our good old friends. Our good old friend happened to be here. Hello, Saltaire. Can I close the door? No, I can't close the door. That's kind of saddening. Hello, how you doing? Bit of a pigsty of a room, don't you think? Bit of a wrong place to take a nap. But either way, how you doing?
Oh, there you are. You've been quiet these days. Smooth summoning out there. Anytime you see my brilliantly shining signature, do not hesitate to call upon me. You've left me with quite an impression. I would relish a chance to assist you.
Well, I'm glad I gave you a really good impression after the time I summoned you for the gargoyles. I mean, hopefully we can, well, fight again and have like a jolly good old fight together. Have you got anything else to say, my good old friend?
You really are fond of chatting with me, aren't you? If I didn't know better, I'd think you had feelings for me. Oh no, dear me, pretend you didn't hear that.
Well, I don't want to say anything about that lovely feather on your hat. I mean, just look at that feather. That feather is wonderful. I mean, look how jagged, how smooth. Yeah, we could be good friends. I mean, I've got a fancy helmet. You've got a fancy helmet. Yours is a bit shinier, mind you. But it makes you even more of a brilliant person than you actually are. So I am quite fond of you, my good old friend Saltaire.
You really are fond.
So, by doing that, we have triggered his summoning sign for the boss of this area. So that's always a wonderful thing. We will not be summoning him today, but either way, the offer is there. So let's light the bonfire, take a quick nap, and I'll probably end the video there, since, well, we actually did quite a bit, didn't we? So, I'll see you next time. So take care of yourselves, okay?